Good day, everyone. Welcome back to RJB Starcraft casts, where I will today be delivering to you a beautiful game. Absolutely beautiful. The most beautiful game you've ever seen. Ever. Actually, I just grabbed, because I don't want to be too repetitive with showcasing the exact same names time and time again, I grabbed two random names somewhere from the huge pile of replays that I've got lying around. And it's C+Sibal, I'm calling him C+, and he's playing against Lover Magic. And I'll call him Lover. And Lover is on the red Terran on the top right of the map, whereas C+ is on the top right, up the top left of the map. I think I've screwed up something somewhere, but let's ignore that fact. Let's just keep going. And considering these are two random players, I cannot guarantee the quality of this game. But then again, in the past, really high level players have given us some low quality matches themselves. So just being a high quality player doesn't necessarily mean that the results of it will be high quality. Even sometimes, or quite often actually, lower level players, even though I assume these guys are still pretty damn high level compared to myself and compared to most players who even watch or play the game, this should still be, or could potentially be, a very exciting match. And I hope it is. And if it isn't, oh, that's too bad. Then hopefully I, and hopefully you, the viewer too, can learn something from the game. And hopefully your time won't be wasted. But it might be too early to be saying all those things. Instead, I should be focusing on what's transpiring in the match. Lover Magic starting off with two barracks, and C+ is throwing down a pylon there at the refinery, so that these SCVs are unable to start mining. And that should slow Lover down just a little bit, up until the pylon dies. So he's gonna pull some Marines off and put them on attacking the pylon as well. I think all in all should slow him down by about 25 seconds at most, maybe 30 seconds. He's got a probe there on the side. Might go in again to scout once he sees those Marines leaving. I assume once the pylon dies, Marines will leave this area and the probe can go back in and scout him again. But for now, he's just keeping it idle there. There's a Zealot there on the side. It's gonna come walking in, but has been spotted by the SCV just earlier. And it finds a Marine. Marine does not get microed away. Marine finally gets microed. Marine gets stuck. Marine manages to get away. Another Marine is now being surrounded. Marine manages to get away with just a sliver of health left. Zealot dies in the end in exchange for a single. And he threw in another pylon with the probe I was mentioning earlier. Now the Zealot comes streaming in. Pylon is going to go down. There's already 200 minerals thrown down the drain in exchange for slowing down gas mining. But I guess that is somewhat of an advantage that you gain as the Protoss, because you do manage to build up an advantage in where you are with your tech progression in relation to where the Terran is with their tech progression. Like, it doesn't even have stim upgrade yet, although the academy finished at least a minute ago. You just have two medics out there healing those Marines that have been fighting. Two more Zealots coming in from the side there. There's a very small choke is being thrown up for C+. Marines now engaging in the fight with the Zealots. Zealots both splitting up. He's mostly just trying to distract Lover and trying to get information at the same time while he can still keep building up his base. And that is a Templar's Archive. He's on a single gateway. So he's going for the Fast Dark Templars, and he's just keeping information on how far Lover has been progressing and whether those Dark Templars will end up making a difference, whether they will be working or not. But I assume that Lover has information on the Templar's Archive from this SCV, but there is no. He's making a scan, so he can scan the Dark Templar at some point once it does reach into his base. He doesn't have an engineering bay. He's not making an engineering bay. He's adding on factories and barracks. So unless C+ has some very good Dark Templar control and manages to get out of the scan range within time, he might be losing those Dark Templars, and the Dark Templar cheesy move that he's going to try to pull off might not end up working at all. He's only making a single Dark Templar. He's adding on 4 gateways. There's an assimilator coming out. And yeah, he's pretty much banking on the Dark Templar slowing Lover Magic down, but I don't think it's going to work because Lover Magic is already throwing down a choke to keep stuff out of his base. And he's throwing down a 3rd depot right there, so this single Dark Templar will most definitely be spotted out because it cannot walk in unchallenged. It has to take down one of these depots, and once one of those depots starts taking damage from the Dark Templar, Lover Magic will be updated on the status of what C+ is up to, and a scan comes out. There's the scan. Dark Templar manages to get away with half of his health. Well, more than half of his health, a 3rd of his health. It was 40 shield, 80 HP. But now a turret is being thrown down because an engineering bay has finished. 2 scans are on. Line for Lover. He's producing from 2 command centers, so he's really gonna be boosting up that economy really quickly. Star being thrown down as a drop defense measure. And there's already... He's going for another Dark Templar drop inside the base. But I assume that Lover Magic will be able to deal with that just handily and correctly, really quickly, given that he has 2 scans, both with enough energy. Well, one has enough energy, the other one is on 100 energy, but it means he has 2 scans at his disposal to take care of these Dark Templars if he wants to and desires to. Templars being unloaded, and now they're on the hunt. And there is a vision bug going on. I have to turn it on and off. Right now, it's back. One Dark Templar was not showing up on my replay vision, even though I should be seeing everything. Right, so there's a turret there. Dark Templar gets spotted out. The Dark Templar gets brought to the bottom side of the map. He isn't using his scans because he used both. He used the scan on the enemy. He should just be using the scan because he has 2. He's energy for 2 scans. I'm not sure what he's up to. Turret down there. Got killed by the Dark Templar. Dark Templar still running around the base looking for things to kill. Starts with the starport. And 4 Dragoons now taking shots on the depot at the front. Tanks not being moved up. Instead, he's still focused on the Dark Templar. Dark Templar here running into the turret vision, but it gets away. Now Dragoons in the front, microing backwards, trying to take down a 2nd depot. Lover Magic is now supply stock. So this is a very good move for Lover Magic. Lover Magic now trying to intercept those tanks, but the Dark Templar walks into the turret range. Now the turret range, and that allows a tank to siege up. So just a single depot lost, a couple of Marines went down. Dark Templars did more damage inside the base than I would have wanted them to do, because Lover Magic had enough energy for double scans, triple scans now, almost on quadruple scans. So he has the scans to take care of gathering information and taking care of Dark Templars. There's still a Dark Templar inside the base. That might be a little bit of an annoyance. Just needs 1 hit. Gets spotted out. Marines get stimmed. Scan is going to come down. Scan comes down. Dark Templar goes down as well. It'll try to extend its life, but it goes down. Lover Magic now sitting on quite a hefty bank. Some 47 SCVs against 54 from C+. C+ has been massing up, has been building his base up quite quickly. And this is one of those things where you can see that you don't always need high APM to be effective or to build a quick base. Though I also have to admit that C+ has not been putting all that much pressure on Lover Magic. Most of the pressure that Lover Magic has been suffering is due to his own hands of not using those scans to kill those Dark Templars, forcing him to focus on chasing those Dark Templars around without vision. He has his front back up. He is still alive, building up, adding on more barracks, getting upgrades for tanks and Marines. The weapon upgrades specifically, no armor upgrades are on the way. Built more turrets being built around the base. Units streaming out into the middle. Just piling them up. Units are inside the shuttles too. He's going to drop those shuttles, fly them in, and drop those zealots behind the depot line on top of the tanks, hoping to kill some of those tanks. And I think he might be somewhat successful with that drop. 2 shuttles went down before being able to unload most of the units, so he is in fact not as successful as I thought he would be. If he had been unable to load all of those shuttles down here behind the depot line, he would have been able to kill, I think, way more of the units behind the depot line, but instead he ends up taking down only a couple of turrets, depots, and a couple of bunkers, a couple of units as well, but he loses way more than he killed. And Lover Magic extends his life once again, just a little bit more. Drop now comes flying in. 1 drop is filled up with Templars. Another drop is filled up with 4 Templars, so 6 Templars in total. 2 Templars being dropped around everywhere. He gets a great storm off on those SCVs. 11 SCVs go down. More Templars are inside the shuttle. The shuttle goes down. Another storm comes down. Another 5 SCVs going down to the storm. Now 2 more storms are rolling in. But the Templars do not get within the range of the SCV, so he decides to turn them into an Archon. And just to keep those Marines busy right there. Most of the SCVs were saved, so the income of Lover Magic is still in somewhat of a safe spot, but he has to start remining. And he's got a lot of idle SCVs all around his base as well. He might want to put those on the minerals as well. Now another attack is going to come streaming out from C+. C+'s APM has rocketed up by about 50 at this point. He stopped adding on to his base. He's got 16 gateways, a couple of robotic facilities, so he has the capability to spam out units, although not as fast as possible. But that's because he is only on 67 probes. He's adding on a couple more probes to boost up his economy just a little bit, because he starts noticing that he cannot crap out a huge ton of units instantly. He's going to be needing more and more. Now a frontal attack is happening. Going to take down those depots, but a drop is flying in from the south side as well. There's a single Templar in there. Templar gets dropped. Templar immediately dies to the siege tanks because there are no zealots there to distract siege tanks. And now this shuttle is going to go down. The front has been broken open, but at the expense of losing all the units that he sent in there. So he will not be able to take advantage of the hole that has been opened up in the front. But Lover Magic is unable to immediately plug the hole up because he's on very low minerals from having to pull off his SCVs off of his minerals time and time again. Which is hurting him a little bit, whereas C+ has just been steadily remassing and loading up shuttles this time around. So he's going for a mass drop somewhere in the base of Lover Magic. You can either go on the side and kill a bunch of units, which would once again be an advantage for C+, and a painful experience for Lover. Or you might just go for the main. And I feel Lover is preparing himself for a mass drop on the main because he scanned the shuttles, so he knows something is up. Shuttles flying right into the Valkyries. Valkyries don't take down a single shuttle. All of the units almost get unloaded. Pretty much all of the Marines have gone down. A couple of SCVs get stormed, but most of the SCVs are pulled to safety. And now Lover Magic has to pull all the units that he has at his choke away from the choke back to his main command center because he has to keep those SCVs alive. Another storm comes out. This time he kills a single SCV. So that's a lucky pickup. Or maybe he killed a couple more, not too sure. But I only saw 2 dying right here on the screen. Maybe a couple of them had already died. Maybe I looked at it a little bit too late. But Lover manages to stay alive at the expense of losing about 30 supply there. And C+ has already replenished his entire supply. Psy, although most of that Psy is still stuck within the gateways. He's added on a couple more gateways, so he's on 19 gateways in total now. Able to start pumping out units way faster than he could before. Now, the drop is coming in from the bottom side. They're going to fly into those Valkyries, but the Valkyries are a little bit out of position and don't get all of their shots off. Now, it all comes down to these Marines stimming down those shuttles. The shuttles get unloaded right on top of the Marines. Marines going down. Tanks also going down. The front is also being broken up at the same time, but there's too many bunkers at the front for those Zealots to break through. Now the Zealots taking down the Zealot. Templar gets a beautiful storm off on the SCVs, and SCVs get pulled off, but half of the SCVs have gone down to the storm. Beautiful storm from C+. Finally dealing some real significant damage to Lover. Lover unable to react to that in time. And he is in a tight spot now because his base is small, his supply is small. He lost the front. Well, he still has most of the front up, but there's been a huge hole has been opened in the front, and he might not be able to rebuild that front line, given that his income is now so low. He's on 41 SCVs right now. You can honestly pull those SCVs off of the gas because he honestly is not producing. He does not have a very high demand in production in terms of gas required for units that he needs. He's still on only 3 factories, and C+ is still adding gateways onto his base. So he's going to go for the same rinse and repeat method of sending in units over the front. Now he's unloading units behind the bunker line, dropping right on top of those Marines and on top of those tanks. Tanks going down very, very slowly. Because those tanks are upgraded, Marines are also upgraded, so they both players are on about the same upgrades. In practice, 202, no shield upgrades for the Dragoons or the Zealots, just armor and weapons. Whereas the Marines and the tanks are on the exact same upgrades, so they will be able to stay alive from those attacks and actually holds the attacks off really well, thanks to the stimming Marines behind the bunker line, killing most of the units that were being dropped instantly, while the tanks take down the units coming in from the front, who then get taken down by the bunkers and the Marines that were already stemmed up from the units dropped from the shuttles. So Lover Magic stays alive on 55 SCVs now, so he has somewhat recovered his income, although he is still about 15 SCVs shy from where he was. His supply is steadily growing on 145 now. 160 will be hit very soon. Another stream of units is going to come in from the front. Just a rinse and repeat up until Lover Magic makes a huge mistake. So a drop is going to come flying in, but the drop gets intercepted by the Valkyries. Valkyries been able to take down the shuttles before they can drop their units. The storm comes down on the tanks. Now the units from the front taking down the depots. A couple of zealots streaming in between the depots, but they get taken down. Most of the damage is coming from the tanks splashing on their own buildings. And the hole has been opened up in the front, but now the Marines come stimming in from the deeper inside the base and take down the remainder of the units that C+ had. And that he sent in there. So once again, Lover Magic stays alive. Another unsuccessful attack from Lover Magic. From C+, I mean. And that mostly comes down to these Valkyries intercepting the shuttles and causing them to unload into a spot that was suboptimal. Lover Magic now finally able to start adding on more factories because his income has been steadily restabilizing, I would say. Shuttles get spotted out by this science facility. It's a beautiful spot for the science facility, right inside the path. Lover Magic has his Valkyries right in position, but C+ decides to redirect the shuttles, and he does get his Templars down on the low ground and storms on top of the Valkyries. Valkyries close to dying. Tanks also took a lot of damage. Now an attack comes in from the front, but bunkers and depots have been rebuilt in the front. Depots end up going down, mostly to the splash damage from the tanks. Zealots getting in between the bunkers. Bunker goes down to the splash damage from the tanks. More Marines going down to the splash damage from the tanks. It's mostly the splash damage from the tanks. Dealing damage to himself, but he immediately builds 3 new depots to get that wall back up. C+ already back on 200 supply, or Psy, sends out another wave of units that will come crashing down on those depots in the front. But because the wall has been rebuilt, he has to now manually click. He cannot A-move in there. Right? Depot goes down, thanks to the combined damage from the Dragoon, Zealots, and tanks. Now a couple of Zealots streaming in between those bunkers, but eventually everything goes down before he can do any significant damage. There is a hole now in the front though, that is in the advantage of C+, but I'm sure that just like in the past, Lover Magic will plug up that hole in the front and render most of the attacks from C+ ineffective. But he's not plugging up the hole, he's repairing instead. But his next attack from C+ might actually be able to deal some significant damage, because as of yet, most of the damage has been prevented from having that depot wall there in the front. Now Zealots come streaming in. Zealots are on 303 upgrades, so they're a little bit harder to kill. Although Lover Magic is also on 2-2 upgrades, and actually he manages to deal no damage with that frontal attack once again. Lover Magic stays alive. The 2-2 upgrades that he has on his tanks are really helping him out there. But I have a feeling that C+ might be switching up into Reavers sometime soon. Dragoons here on the side, taking down the buildings hovering on the sides that were giving away C+'s drops. Now drops are going to coming from the north side on the northwest. Going to come flying over those turrets. Valkyries finally moving, but they might not be able in time to intercept those shuttles. Shuttle gets shot. Shuttle does die, but a Templar comes out. Templar gets a storm off on the SCVs. 4 SCVs go down. Lover Magic managed to prevent damage at his main, but at the same time the front has been broken open and the tanks in the front are going down to the Zealots that are streaming in very slowly. Dragoons also helping out those Zealots and taking down those tanks. Defensive basic on the tank will not slow C+ down at all. And C+ now on 200 supply against 140 supply from Lover Magic. Lover Magic has tanks spread out all across his base, but those Dragoons are able to take down most of the units that Lover Magic has, and I don't think Lover Magic will be able to replenish those units quick enough because he's only on 9 factories that are finished. He's now adding on more factories, but all it takes now for C+ to win this game is to just keep sending in streams of units, perhaps even land that drop that he's now planning on sending in there. Valkyries are in the right position to intercept it, but he sends them to the wrong side, and he actually just opened up a path for C+ to fly through. Those Valkyries will not be in time to intercept those shuttles. Now the SCVs are in danger of getting stormed. Tanks just coming down on the units that are being dropped. The storm actually a really great storm, killing about 30 SCVs with that storm. Well, it was a multitude of storms, and I think he still has one storm left there. No, he doesn't have any storms left, but Archons are morphing. Now units coming in from the front, just around the same time that Lover Magic lost most of its SCVs, and units in the front will definitely be able to be sufficient in taking down the tanks that are placed here in between those factories. Zealots making their way in between those factories, getting their beautiful hits off on those tanks. Now the tanks are all down. A couple more tanks are spawning, but they're going to go down very, very quickly because more reinforcements are coming in from C+. Valkyries are now useless because there are no air units inside the base of Lover Magic. And I think the game is going to be ending here. I think Lover Magic is going to call it GG, and C+ takes home the win. And he killed even a couple of, he killed a bunch more SCVs with that with the Archon, and Lover Magic taps out, knowing he's lost, knowing there's no way of coming back. And I think that mostly comes down to small bits of mismanagement from Lover Magic, but a pretty damn solid game from C+, who flies the drops in, lands the drops quite nicely. Most of the drops more or less missed and took down only a couple of SCVs. In the end, his persistency, or his persistence, stubbornness, or however you call it, ends up yielding results. He breaks through the front, overruns Lover Magic, who's unable to produce sufficient amount of units, and takes home the W in game number 1 between Lover Magic and C+. I've got 2 more games between these 2 players lined up, ready to roll. And let's get into those next 2 games in a new video. Thanks for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed it.